seen it happen.
Are you a caveman? What are you
No,
talking about?
I've seen it happen.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Deep Drop for another episode of what is a fishing podcast with a twist. What is the twist, you ask? It's not like anything you've heard before when it comes to fishing content. And I'm going to leave it to my trusty sidekick, Adam, to try and make a bit more sense of it than that. But that's kind of ballpark what we're talking about, right? It's a bit different.
Yeah, no, I reckon you've pretty much nailed it. The twist is we answer questions without necessarily giving you an answer.
Yeah. yeah.
But we encourage involvement. And you know what? Let's get involved straight away.
Yeah.
Jump on Instagram and tell us, what is the deep drop?
Yeah, you tell us.
What is it?
Maybe if you give us a good enough explanation, I might change the about sort of description in the actual show copy. And just, yeah. And I can even quote you. If you wrote it, I might even written by.
Let's do that. Send in your best explanations of what the deep drop is, and we're happy to roll with it.
We'll roll with it. And moving forward, we'll intro the show with that explanation.
Yeah, exactly.
And if there's a whole heap of cool explanations, we'll just roll them out.
Cycle through them.
But I think it's fair for anyone that might have just jumped on ads, is it fair to sort of go, we answer a lot of these questions with questions? Because we're putting it back on you guys because they're open questions. When they're not, there's nothing. And look, I think that's fishing in general, isn't it? There's nothing that's set in stone. Everyone's got their techniques and ideas, and that's what's so good about it.
Well, exactly right. It's why you and I sit here and do this podcast, Luke, because we've spoken for hours and hours and hours over the course of our time together, both fishing and working, and we have these conversations. These are conversational questions that you and I ask each other on a regular basis. And at the end, we still sit there and go, not sure if we answered it, but I kind of feel really good about it. So we thought, why not?
It's almost like
why
venting.
not lay it down in an audio format and let's see what everyone else thinks.
Yeah, exactly. It's our way of venting about our industry that we're very lucky to be involved in. But Ads, I want to bring something to the table straight off the top. A very popular species to go after in a lot of the country is calamari, squid, southern calamari, all different types of calamari, wherever you are around the country. But something that is in your face a lot on social media and various sort of, even when you're out there fishing, you see it. And I want to kind of know where you sit with it because I'm not sure I'm comfortable with it anymore. The old squid chop to the back of the head to dispatch them. Visually. Optically, how do you feel about it? So, obviously, look, what we're talking about is, when you land a squid just to kill it, more or less, so you can get it on ice and do what you have to do with it. And there's been a trend that's popped up and you just give them a bit of a chop to the back of the head and it does it. It puts them away straight away. But what I'm asking you, Ads, is how do you feel about it optically when you look at it, when it's in your face quite often on social media?
I don't think I'm offended by it.
Okay.
But the thing is, I don't know why. Because if I was to see, say, someone catch a nice trout, and I think it's been a thing for a while, in order to dispatch a trout, you can just give it a little knock on the head with one of those river stones or something like that. But I've seen it happen.
Are you a caveman? What are you talking about?
I've seen it. I've seen it happen. I won't go into where and how I saw it, but I saw it.
Is that for a photo?
yeah, possibly.
Oh, no.
It wasn't me and it wasn't you. No, that's all anybody needs to know.
No, it wasn't. Move on.
But I think, but again, if you were to see, because at the tackle shop, like we would sell and sold a heap of those, probably what's best described as a small aluminium baseball bat.
Yes.
that was used for dispatching larger fish. I don't think I'd be too comfortable in seeing that posted all over social media. So I don't know. I guess, we said at the top of this podcast, we answer a question with a question. Is it kind of species related? Is it because we don't view calamari as maybe the same as some other species? Is it because they don't bleed everywhere? Is it because they're just squid? I don't really know, but it doesn't, because if you think about it from an optical standpoint, is it any worse than them, like seeing them be
the bat?
If anyone's using a baseball bat on a squid, I don't think there'd be much left of your squid at the bat. But you know, you can buy the little squid spikes and things. Yeah. Is it any different to seeing them spiked? It's maybe not as aggressive.
It's aggressive. Look now. It's a fair call. I guess maybe to elaborate on that more, is it? Do we need to film the killing of said?
That's probably more the point.
Now I'm not getting all greeny here, but I actually am from a lens of, I'm coming from a lens of those particular groups that are anti-fishing. Is this feeding them a bit? Seeing a karate chop to the back of a calamari's
you're probably right, because there has been a lot of documentation around ethically dispatching fish, because we do harvest fish when we're not one of the, strictly, catch and release everything. That's predominantly what I do, only because, the main target species that I go for most of the time, I don't particularly enjoy eating, but I do enjoy keeping a feed of fish. So it's not about that.
No, and you're not releasing a squid. No one's releasing a squid.
No,
ever.
Unless, no, I won't go there.
No.
You I don't know. It's a really interesting. It's a really interesting thing.
Well, and look to on your point about the bat. Like, is anyone? I know they're still for sale. Is anyone using a bat, and what are they using it for?
I mean, what are they using it for? I think is it mainly like gummies and stuff.
I don't know, but it seems a lot.
It seems aggressive, doesn't it?
It seems a lot. And don't get me wrong. I know we've all done it. Well, a lot of people have done it, particularly if you've been fishing for quite a while. I think the new wave of anglers probably don't use a bat. I mean, that might be generalising, but
I don't know. Maybe that's kind of what you do if you're keeping a gummy. Okay. I don't know. Maybe. I haven't gummy fished in years. So please, if you target gummy sharks a fair bit for food,
yeah.
How do you dispatch it?
Yeah, yep, good call.
Because for a calamari, getting back to that, what's the easiest way to dispatch them, do you think? I mean, you can go through the whole karate chop spiking process. Yeah. Is it kind of just as easy to take the head off? Just pull it off?
No, I do think it. Yeah, I don't know. I think the spike for me is. But don't get me wrong. The karate chop, if that's what we're calling it, it is very quick and effective. It works. Like I'm not suggesting it's not a good way to do it as far as the result. It's more about the optics of it. But I think that, a spike or a chop certainly gets it done. And the beauty of that is it's not, because there's argument about, it's from an eating point of view, leaving him in a live tank sort of just floating around could potentially stress him out a bit and whatever. But I mean, I don't know. I haven't done
which can affect the meat. I don't know. I don't know if I'm that well equipped, as far as I don't know if I'm that developed in the way I taste things that I notice a difference. Like in the end of the day,
your palate's not strong enough to go, ooh, that's been karate chopped.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, I'm deep frying it, So I don't think it really counts.
Yeah, fair enough. No, all right. Well, again, I think the best thing to do here is put it out there to the people and let us know what your thoughts are on the optics of a karate chop, but also the bat. Like, if you're using a bat, what are you using it for?
Yeah, is it still relevant?
What do we think about it?
Do we know better ways? Like, have we learnt more humane ways to dispatch these things? On
this sort of topic, it reminds me of something that I was meaning to bring up with you. Actually, this might have even been before we even started this podcast. There's always things that pop in my head that I think I want to talk to Adam about this. But not anymore. It's all recorded. So everything, our conversations are pretty much all recorded now. Along these same lines, the thing that not confuses me, but I sometimes scratch my head at lip gaffs to release a fish.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, I kind of get the idea, but you're punching a hole in its jaw. Like you're still putting a gaff in it to release it. Now, I know you're not hitting any,
So, but what fish would you typically lip gaff?
I've seen it, tuna and GTs and probably tuna would be one of the main ones. I have certainly seen GTs lip gaffed and,
How does it differ much from a hook?
Well, a gap, the hole it leaves is substantially bigger than that of a hook, isn't it?
But a hook's got a barb.
Yep.
So by the time you get the barb out, is that more traumatizing?
Potentially.
To other parts? And I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know, because I guess, yes, if you were looking squarely at optics, it's a horrible look. I'm going to release this fish, so in order to get the hook out, I'm going to jam a bigger hook in it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't make much sense. But if you try and pick it apart, if you say take a standard, say 80, 90, trolling hook that goes into
pretty thick.
Yeah.
I get that. I understand.
It's more the barb, because a gaff is always going to be thicker than any hook.
Now there are. You'd still see it quite a bit, but there are those stronger, bigger, heavy-duty lip grips now that you can get that are very much for that sort of thing, I guess, to avoid doing that. Now, I'm certainly not going to sit here and try and say you're damaging fish. Like it might not be a scratch to some of these fish. It might be fine to sink a lip gaff into it. That's fine, and it's certainly a way of getting them both sides to remove a hook. But it just seems weird to me that we're going to release this, so quick, grab the gaff.
Yeah. Would you net tuna? Like small tuna?
Small ones. I guess if you're releasing
it. Seems weird. It seems weird though, doesn't it?
It does seem weird to net a tuna. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things. Because if you're keeping just a couple of smaller ones, sinking a gaff in is potentially easier just to hoik them over, but it's also a guaranteed blood everywhere type scenario.
Yeah, true. Though I think you kind of guaranteed that with a tuna.
I was going to say they just start bleeding regardless, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, do
you know what though? It's a fascinating conversation. It's a great topic because you and I are quite big on the optics of things. You and I have had many private conversations and even conversations on this podcast about photo opportunities with fish and no blood and all that sort of stuff. Because unfortunately, we do live in a world where there's some people and there's industry going after what we love to do. So it is a factor. We'd be silly to ignore it.
Yeah.
And it's only going to get worse. So
it's just
how far do you go? Like it's unfortunate. Well, no, I won't even say unfortunately, because the vast majority of people involved are doing all this for the right reasons.
Yeah, definitely.
So no one's going out there just to mindlessly slaughter everything that's caught, but a part of it is looking after the catch post catching it.
Yep.
And that does involve getting the guts out, bleeding it, dispatching it ethically and quickly.
Yeah, because you could argue doing it that way is the best thing for everything involved. The fish itself, because it's out of its misery straight away, but also if we're keeping it to eat it, let's make the most of it. And
the best quality meat possible.
Yeah.
It's an interesting topic, because sometimes I don't feel as though I think it's probably the least covered thing in this industry. I mean, you can go onto social media these days, and hey, my Instagram algorithm is full of ways that fish are filleted, like quickly, clean, perfect, all the things that I cannot do for myself. But I don't know. The dispatching part of it's always an interesting conversation, because people tend to try and shy away from it, but it is part of it. And I think as long as it's done quickly and ethically, you get the best possible meat out of it. It's kind of the way it needs to be done.
Yep. No, fair call. But again, happy to put it out to the people and let us know what your thoughts are with lip gaffs and if they're sort of more trouble than they're worth for a fish. But I might
Yeah,
be
is
completely
yeah.
wrong.
Well, is a lip gaff necessary? Oh, fuck.
It's been a big day.
I'm seriously fascinated by all of this because I think in our game we are somewhat behind when it comes to the care and production of a fish that's kept for the table. And I don't think that's through any fault of the fishermen or the people doing it. I just think we're in a world where, at the moment anyway, we're talking about those things and trying to publicise those things
More than ever.
comfortably
Yeah.
are hard. I mean, you try and do a video tutorial on ethically dispatching all these different species because it does vary species to species.
Yeah.
I mean, we just by what we're talking about on this podcast, we've gone from calamari to essentially bluefin tuna, two wildly different species. You got to do completely different things to look after them.
Yeah.
It's
One covers you in ink and the other covers you in blood.
yeah. Well, where do you think we are in that space as an industry or as a hobby sport? Olympic sport, whatever.
Oh, look, I think it's as far as education and development as well, like with understanding the best ways to do things, like whether it's dispatch a fish or prepare it the right way. And I think we're probably we're as far as we've ever been. As far like we see what the Tuna Champions thing is all about from a tuna point of view. I'd love to see more of that around, and it doesn't have to be hardcore detail as that, but even just around things like snapper or some of the, the reef species up in the northern part of the country, just the absolute optimum way to look after your catch to absolutely maximise, for the table.
Well, even just information around on, the perfect sizing for fish. I mean, some fish it doesn't matter, but take a snapper,
Pant
for
size.
example.
Pinky pant size.
Like, go a kilo snapper, 40 to 50 centimeters of snapper is, in my opinion, 100 times better than, you're a 4 or 5 kilo fish. I just think the flesh is firmer. It's got a better texture to it.
Definitely. Yeah.
But there's not much education on what that is. Take a bluefin, for example, whether they're 8 kilos or they're 108 kilos, they're all pretty good.
You know what I'd love to see? I'd love to see I was going to say TV show, but let's face it, a YouTube series or whatever it is that is hosted or co-hosted by a genuine chef, and if they specialise in seafood, even better. But that tackles species that are very catchable around, and let's just use sort of the southern part of the country. So yes, there's always going to be talk about snapper and kingfish and tuna probably and calamari. But what about things like if you brought them some fresh silver trevally? What can you do with it? And I'm not talking about do all this fancy shit that's in these.
I was about to say. I'm glad you said that.
No.
This is like for everyday
punters.
people.
And I'm talking, this particular chef can go through even just some stuff that you can get from your Woolies or whatever that's fairly accessible, and then just creates a dish. And all of a sudden you go, far out. Like, that's achievable. Like, I could nick down to the local jetty and get a couple of silver trevally, and I've actually got a feed. I personally, at the moment, wouldn't think about that. As a table fish. You know what I'm saying? And that's one weird example.
Because if you think about maybe some of the least desirable species at the moment that there is to catch and eat, say, let's use the Australian salmon.
Australian salmon. They're everywhere.
Easy to catch.
Yeah.
It can't be that hard. But surely, like, the worst fresh Australian salmon is going to be better than some of the dog shit we're buying, like the bassa and fucking crap that we're buying from. Oh, who knows? It's probably just pieces of fish glued together. But
yeah, I can taste the glue when I eat that.
You know what? Like,
spot on. It's a great example.
We're happy to go to the supermarket and buy some of that, whether it's frozen or like fish fingers, for example. The most disgusting pieces of shit. Yet it's the one thing the kids will eat. You bring home a fresh bit of fish, you're like, oh, no, I'm not eating that.
Yeah, no, I know. But even that's I reckon that's a really good example. Australian salmon. That everyone who's got a fishing rod and reel at some point near their closest coastal area can catch them. I'm not saying will, can. They are a very, very available species to catch, if that's a way to
Yeah,
put it.
no, they are.
So whether they're big or small, enough to get a feed from, it would be great to see someone who is overqualified in that area to actually go, you know what, here's what you could do, or a couple of options to do it. And
that's not hard.
It's not hard.
Take us from a whole fish to what do you do with it? Okay, well, Sam, you've got to bleed it. I'll show you how to do that efficiently, quickly, and...
Do you know what else? I brushed over snapper, but no, show us something good with snapper, because I'm not going to lie, I don't love them.
Yeah.
I don't love them.
Probably not the best. But do you know, is that, though, not the classic MO of our southern species? So take King George whiting. Probably classed the best eating fish we have down here. Is it the best eating fish because it doesn't have much of a flavour? Maybe. Or is it the best eating fish because you don't have to do anything with it and it tastes okay, as opposed to everything else that you just need to do a little something to? Compare it to like a coral trout or a red emperor or even a Spanish mackerel. They've got flavour.
Yeah.
Whereas I wouldn't say King George flavour has a insanely deep flavour, which is probably why it's one of the best eating fish, because it's not offensive. It's not bad.
No, that might be it. But maybe we're not even doing that right. Like, what if this particular chef goes, hey, all you need to do is add this and this, and fucking bang. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, mate, yeah. Well, we're all battering and deep frying and shit. What if just a little bit of salt, pepper, and lemon and steam it, and it might be the most incredible thing ever. Yet, when's the last time you steamed a bit of fish?
Like,
Never.
This chef might go, you're doing what to a whiting?
Yeah, exactly.
Dickheads. Here's what you need to do.
And a really great example of this is silver trevally.
Yeah.
For years, for probably my entire lifetime, the very first fish I ever caught was a silver trevally.
Yeah.
And no one liked eating them. But my old man let me keep it so that I got to experience how shit they were. Yet, fast forward 35 years or whatever, now there's a lot of talk and a really quickly growing popularity in silver trevally.
Yeah.
Because now we've learnt, don't cook them.
Sashimi.
Yeah. And it's beautiful stuff, and I haven't tried it. All the talk about it at the moment has got me inspired to try and go and find some silver trevally so I can try it. But word on the street, it's incredible, and a lot more people are keeping them and eating it that way.
See, absolutely, 100%, and that might be the recommendation from said chef on said YouTube channel that we're going to create. Well, we're not, but but what about even things like, and I'll be honest, and I've been trout fishing and caught some nice trout that you go, that would be worth keeping for a feed, but I don't really know the best way to do it. And yes, I know I can search it up and find something to do, but I'm also like, it's too hard.
Yeah.
But if there was something that was like, fuck, that's actually easy and tastes unbelievable. Redfin, we all know they taste good, but are we doing it the right way? Could it be done better?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, are redfin the only freshwater fish that are good to eat?
Well, yeah, that's a fair point.
So prove me wrong.
Well, yeah. Meat a cod. No, I'm joking. Jesus. My phone's ringing already. It's fisheries. Estuary perch. Oh, now I'm getting shot at.
Aussie bass. Hey, Rob.
But, I think it's not a bad, like brim. Like, and I'm not trying to offend.
No, seriously. Brim's probably a great example because I don't particularly think they're the best fish to eat. No. I have eaten them and didn't go, oh, yuck, I'll never eat this again.
No.
But it is, there's a lot of them. There's, they're not insanely hard to catch. No. So, again, are these sustainable, plentiful species that we're not doing enough with? I mean, garfish.
Well, yeah. But even, I suppose, the question that I'll put out there to the listeners, and on Instagram as well, the Deep Drop Instagram page is where you'll find it. Please comment, flick us a message, whatever. Are we making the most of the fish that we actually have here from an eating perspective? Now, like I said, I went back because I sort of brushed over snapper and flathead and calamari. We all know you can cook them as they are and they're fine. Whiting. Yeah. But is there actually something else we can do to make them out of this world?
Or what about a species like the leather jacket?
I actually don't mind.
Well, I
eating
remember
leather jacket.
as a kid, leather jacket were a species that were known around. That they were actually quite nice to eat.
Yeah.
You don't hear of them at all anymore.
Well, I remember eating because we used to catch them quite a bit, and we kept a few. I'm not saying we used to keep them all the time or keep heaps of them or anything, but you catch one or two, and when you get those decent sized ones, their flesh is good,
Quite firm. They're quite easy to
skin
so
them.
I don't.
There you go.
Wrasse, wrasse, there's charter boats that are filling boats just for people wanting to chase wrasse. Like, when's the last time anyone said, "Oh yeah, wrasse, give me some of that"? Like,
toadies, whatever.
Well, fugu, whatever.
But I reckon there is heaps that we potentially throw back or just discount as a table fish. And look, don't get me wrong, it's effort. You got to put a bit of effort into it and get the right sort of stuff. But that's what I mean. If someone can simplify it all for us, if there's someone out there who can dumb it down, with all due respect, for people like you and I, Adam.
Yeah, exactly. Just make it easy.
Like if I looked at a really high-end recipe in a recipe book, I get dizzy.
Oh, I'm not even going to bother. Seriously.
So I'm saying, is there a chef out there that can create some content? Dumb it down for everyone.
Is there an easy way to make a mullet taste good?
Carp. But imagine there was.
I find it hard to believe that hasn't been found out yet. Or is the reputation too far gone? Is the Australian salmon, is that suffering the same issue? The reputation of it being horrible is so far gone.
Because I don't think about an Australian salmon. I'm not speaking for everyone. Then think, ugh, disgusting creatures. Whereas carp, they're gross. They're fucking hideous.
It's a bit shit. Just because they're ugly, it's just a bit shallow of you, mate.
Don't judge a fish by its scales. Well, I have.
Or I wonder if by combining a couple of fish, you could make it half decent. Like, what happens if you took an Australian sapin? That's
sapin.
See, I just created a new species.
Where do you catch them?
I don't know. But if you got an Australian salmon, 2 mullet, and made a fish patty out of it, would it still be shit? Or would the shit flavours offset each other and be miraculously good?
Just straight up, the idea of a fish patty, no.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's the idea of it. I'm sure they're fine, but no. That's just. But I see where you're going. Combine silver trevally and a let's make it real weird. Silver trevally and a redfin.
Ooh.
Fresh and salt.
Ooh, using saltwater fish to give freshwater fish flavour. You could be onto something.
Yeah. Hey?
You could be onto something.
They're the fish fingers I want to try.
Or is there any other fish that we're fucking it up by cooking it, like silver trevally?
Yeah. Okay, fair call.
Like imagine you found out like tomorrow that the problem we've had with banjo shark is we keep trying to cook it.
Can you keep them? Look at that. Or is there I don't know legally.
Like legally.
Yeah. Port Jackson's you can't. Can you?
Are they still for a long time you couldn't.
Don't anyone ever ask Adam and I advice if you see.
We probably should do some research before we start talking.
We should be across this. We spend enough time with the authorities. It's like, but maybe God, there could be. Do you remember? Have you ever caught butterfish or seen?
No.
You know what I'm talking about? They're quite big and they feed on vegetation. That's probably why. But you can get them in this neck of the woods on plastics. Not often, but they scream off like you wouldn't believe. But
what about ludric?
Ludric, yeah, you can get them on bait as well, as sort of the lettucey shit. But I don't know. It's Anyway, I mean, look, there's a million.
There's got to be some stuff there.
Bloody species out there. I would love for someone to dumb it down and say, hey, next time you catch a salmon and just sort of, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar skyhook it back into the water, have a think. You might be throwing back a good feed.
Maybe not bleeding, it's the go. I don't know.
Maybe.
Don't know.
What?
I
So
can't see how that would make sense.
You don't stick it in the sand head first?
Well, maybe it's the sand giving it that crunchy texture. I just don't know.
All right. So look, let's not try and work it out anymore because I think we need to put it out there. Are we cooking fish wrong? Are we doing it wrong? Let us know. Please let us know.
Just quickly before you wrap it up, I've got these thoughts are just coming to me. What's your take on rinsing a saltwater fish in fresh water? Do you think it fucks it?
I don't know. It's weird because it's all in my head. Because now I'll try and use salt water. Like if I'm even for like squid, like if I've come in the kayak or the boat, I'll try and have a bucket of water there or just clean them up on the foreshore there or something in the salt water. But I don't know. Does it do anything if I was to take it home and rinse it in fresh? Yeah, I don't know. But I'm balls deep in it. Like it's all mental now. I can't not do that because then I'll be like, oh, I've ruined it. I don't know.
Because it's not like you're purging.
Well, where are you at? You're not buying it?
No, I couldn't give rat's ass.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I don't have a saltwater tap at home, so...
Yeah. Oh, there's something. All right, good stuff. Well, there's plenty there, and I'd love to find out some. This is something we probably need to tackle in another episode as well. Recipes and the whole cooking thing, because
we might need to find a guest that actually knows what's up.
Get a chef on. All right,
I think we're going to have to find someone that knows what's up.
I'm making a note of that. Let's get a chef, and they can actually tell us that we are so far off the mark. It's not funny.
Yeah. We're going to need some solid proof on this one.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, no worries. We'll jump on board Instagram, answer the questions, get involved, tell us what we need to know because we don't know what we need to know. Flick us a message or just comment on the post, whatever you feel comfortable with. But tell your friends about it. Spread the word. The Deep Drop, there's a lot of things happening, ads, and we want to get people on board now because we've got some cool stuff coming up. Spotify is one of the easiest places to find the podcast. Follow along and, get involved. Stay tuned. There's plenty to come. Thank you very much, Adam.
Thank you, Luke. That was a bit of fun. I think we uncovered a heap of shit we know nothing about today. How good's that?
Exactly. On that note, see ya.